Hey everybody, how's it doing? I'm just talking to you about the Trump attempted assassination. A lot of people are talking about some sort of conspiracy and saying things that I think are a little bit too premature.
Well, don't be a conspiracy theorist, guys. No, actually, be a conspiracy theorist, because the conspiracy theorists are telling you the truth. What they are trying to tell you is that common sense is a conspiracy now. Common sense is not a conspiracy. Common sense tells you that something else went on here, that this was coordinated, that people knew what was going to happen, and that common sense, if you were already sensing that that could be a reality, it was all but confirmed.
So remember 6 months ago, there was a incident where President Biden was walking out of a venue and they were heading in a direction that they hadn't planned to, and there was a car that hit one of the entourage for his security detail, and people were saying at the time, how was this person able to get so close given the helicopters and all this other stuff? And it was sort of brushed off at the time because the person wasn't a threat and it wasn't a big incident. The point is that they got through the security of the Secret Service. Now, essentially what's happened with Donald Trump is that they got through the security as well. And professionals who have done this sort of work before, I'll intercut some clips during this video, professionals that have done this sort of work before are not surprised that someone got through the security, was overlooked by security.
For you, having even done some consultation for political events and security detail, how surprised are you that someone was able to get to that proximity in that kind of high-pressured event?
Honestly, I'm not too surprised. So when President Trump was here in town in 2000, I think it was 2017 or 18, during his 2018, 19, something like that, myself and a couple other special operations buddies were contacted by Secret Service to provide a level of security when it came to kind of the need to go down to the airport to pick him up in case of the helicopters failing or winds and stuff like that. And so myself and a buddy were drivers in one of the vehicles, staged out of our hometown, and then if that happened, we were going to drive down and pick him up with some other buddies. It didn't happen. I was on the tarmac with several of my buddies in the vehicles when Trump had landed and walked off the airfield to the stage, the platform he was speaking to. I was in the lead vehicle and I was just looking and assessing. I could see the sniper teams up on a couple of the roofs, and the reality kind of set in that even the most powerful man in the world, President Trump at the time, those guys, the Secret Service, they're on such high demand and movement when they're going place to place during the campaigns that they can't think of everything. And there's a lot of planning that goes into every single scenario and when they're going to different cities and communities. But stuff is going to slip through the cracks. And the reality that anybody in a known community can actually, with a little thought, if they know where these places are going to be hosted, and especially outdoors, it's very possible that this can happen. And I'm surprised that, honestly, it hasn't happened more often. But what we're seeing is something that really isn't too alarming. You know, like as somebody who's trained in that profession and knows my capabilities, and with a little bit of forethought, when you think about how easy it is for something like this to happen, it doesn't surprise me at all.
And so I'm going to take a professional's point of view, a professional's opinion, more heavily than I'm going to take a non-professional's opinion. Someone who's a commentator, who makes their job with saying things and making comments on things. Now, the person who saw the shooter and alerted the police, he said that the roof was pitched, and so the snipers for the Secret Service would not have been able to see him where he was originally.
100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
We were not there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police from the Secret Service.
We were telling the police. We were pointing at them for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see?
Binoculars.
Could they see?
Probably not. because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? I mean, this is not a big place.
Did you see, I mean, obviously everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh, yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, just be careful because we don't point out who's watching, but you're pretty sure they shot the guy?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over. I don't know what to say, man. I'll tell you is, if I walked up close to there with anything that Secret Service considered a problem, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you right now. But I don't know why a guy who we're standing there pointing out to police and Secret Service is crawling up the roof. Yes, right there by that tree. We were outside the security thermal. But my question is, there's only a few buildings around here. Why is Secret Service not on every building here?
Well, there's a whole bunch of questions, I think, that are going to come.
There's a whole bunch of questions.
Yeah.
I think it's reasonable to say that you tell a cop there's a guy with a gun on the roof over there, and the cop goes, what? I don't know what to do. There's lots of people with guns on the roof. The point is that there's the shock and then the lag of response from the policeman, and the policeman would have to call it in, and then they'd have to revert that to the Secret Service earpieces. My point is that this all happened within 2 or 3 minutes. This is very quick. And yes, of course, the Secret Service should have been here and there and everywhere, but the Secret Service should have been there at the book depository and the other place and all the other things. And it's really easy to criticize after the event, because there are dozens and dozens of events that go absolutely without incident. And this one just happened to have an incident, and therefore it gets overly scrutinized. And sure, maybe because of the Biden incident 6 months ago, maybe the Secret Service are providing poor quality service. I don't know. But I'm saying that there's enough evidence to suggest that all these things can be coincidental, not evidence of some sort of mass collusion. The thing is, someone shot at the president and intended to kill him. That should make every single American very sober. This is not a joke anymore. It wasn't a joke before, and it certainly wasn't a joke the other day. But people have been calling for members of the population to assault President Trump constantly for a number of years, not the least of which is Johnny Depp.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president? I want to clarify, I'm not an actor. I lie for a living.
Speaking of fever pitch, Donald Trump's great week has resulted in some serious Trump derangement syndrome. We're talking about on steroids. This has now reached such a hysterical level. People are taking to social media to call for Trump's assassination. Most recently, it was a BBC reporter who took to Twitter to write, "If I was Biden, I'd hurry up and have Trump murdered on the basis that he is a threat to America's security." That's David Aronovich. And here he is calling for the murder of Donald Trump, but he is just one of many. Check out this actress. She's from a show which you may or may not have heard from called Orange is the New Black. It was a pretty big mega series. Millions of people have watched it. And she decided to post this video on her social media calling on Biden to be that assassin.
Joe, you're a reasonable man. You don't want to do this, but here's the reality. This is a war. This is a war now, and we are fighting for our country, and these assholes are going to take it away. They're going to take it away. Joe, you now have the right to take that Trump out. Take him out, Joe. If he was Hitler and this was 1940, you'd take him out. Well, he is Hitler and this is 1940. Take him the out.
From the top right, check out this tweet from Joe Biden himself saying, well, Trump has promised that he's going to be a dictator from day one. We must stop him. Attached to that, oh, there he is. He's going to be a dictator from day one. He's vowed it himself. What complete and utter nonsense.
Now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it.
It's Ken Harbaugh with Against All Enemies on the Midas Touch Network. You just heard former President Trump on the campaign trail in Ohio say it's going to be a bloodbath if he doesn't win re-election. I don't know how much clearer it could get. Donald Trump poses an existential threat to democracy. The only election results he'll respect are those in which he is declared the winner. It's as if, in an attempt to appear nonpartisan, major media outlets are ignoring what is right in front of them. And it's not as if Donald Trump's threats are merely hypothetical. We saw what happened on January 6th. He has already tried once to undermine American democracy using violence. The main difference between that attempt and what we're likely to see should he lose again and fail to accept the outcome is that now he and his enablers have a plan.
I mean, this sort of rhetoric and publicity is not good. You're threatening the president. That in itself is a felony, by my understanding. Now, someone has taken that up. And the thing is, people need to stop gossiping. There's an old, there's old morality, old ethics that say, don't gossip. Don't listen to gossip. Media is almost nothing but gossip. So if you were to be a traditionalist or to be conservative and you didn't listen to gossip, you wouldn't be watching Fox. You wouldn't be watching hardly any news services. Because there's so much gossip. People make their money by saying outrageous things, or making outrageous claims, or making outrageous accusations.
Let's bring in Florida Congressman and former U.S. Army sniper, Cory Mills.
Look, I'm not sure about who the individuals are on the individual detail Secret Service, but I can tell you under this Biden administration, the one thing I've seen is massive DEI hires. And I can tell you, when you primarily go after DEI, you end up with DIE. This is a shot that within 5 minutes I could teach you to make 9 out of 10 times. So this is divine intervention. This is the God having his protective hand and wearing Ephesians 6, the armor of God, over the president, because this is right here, a millisecond or a millimeter in change, and this isn't an attempted assassination. This is an assassination of a president.
Yeah. The devil was in Butler, Pennsylvania, but so was God.
First off, stop watching people who do this to try and inflame a situation further. The people that wait for evidence are the people that are more calm and that can make better decisions. I suppose, in summary, what I am saying is, and these are to people all over the world, not only in Australia and America, but the UK and anybody who's watching this. We live in a time where emotions are easily flared. And there are a lot of reasons to suggest that people want us to be emotional. People want us to flare up our emotions. People don't want us to wait and be patient and calm. People on both sides want us to fight with each other, to not talk to each other, to not care about each other. They want the tribalism. They want to divide. Don't do that. Talk to people that you don't agree with. Recognize that you have to control your emotions. You do. Because if someone, gets up and says, darn Trump, and then tries to shoot at him, and then you have a reaction and you grab some sort of weapon, even if the weapon is your mouth, and you start spurting out emotional drivel online, then you're no better. You're not stopping anything. You're keeping it going. So I listened to Candace Owens's comments on it, and I thought it was really inflammatory and really unhelpful. And I think that she talks way too much outside of her expertise. And I think she's probably indicative of a lot of people who have shows online. I think Tucker Carlson is one of the best journalists that have the old school ethics of waiting for evidence and identifying what's an opinion and what's substantiated, and thinks through things so that his opinion isn't a knee-jerk reaction. I think he's a really good example of someone to watch and listen to. I don't think Russell Brand is a good person to listen to. He's very emotional. Watch it for entertainment because you like Russell Brand and you're trying to get a sense of what people are saying. Sure. But don't let it be your only source of information. Don't let Candace Owens be your only source of information. Develop your opinion by listening to lots and lots of different things. If you're listening to everybody say the same thing, then logically and reasonably, you would have to withhold having an opinion until you can get someone to tell you the other side of the story. I mean, have we fallen and gone so far that we've forgotten? Like even the conservative people, the people that believe in freedom and the people that believe in, bringing order back to the political system, not lying and other things like that. Are those people so morally the same as the other side in that they don't control themselves? I want you all to be calm and to recognize that this turbulence is up in the air. You don't have to play this game. You don't have to play this game. You can talk calmly. You can be different. You don't have to be on one of these teams. And we need to take a good, hard look at ourselves and decide, before it's decided for us, what type of human being we want to be. I don't want to be a human being that is on some team that opposes some other team for some unknown reason, and it just is like a feud that keeps on going from generation to generation. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be involved in that. I don't want to encourage that. But what I want to do is I want to think for myself and be my own person. And I want to bring up my kids the same way. I want them to think for themselves. I want them not to do what everybody else is doing, unless, of course, it's something that they've thought through and they want to do. I think the majority, or maybe it might not be a majority, I don't know, but I think a lot of people can agree with me on this. And I think some people who say, are you blind? We need to do this, and we need to, stockpile that, and we need to challenge this, and we need to get these people out. So it's like, that all might be true, but I really don't like the way that you want to do it. I might want exactly the same things and recognize that exactly the same things need to happen. But I don't want to do it by getting angry. I want to do it by being determined, by being, by having fortitude, integrity, honesty, humility, but also being strong and steady. If you want to try and stir me up into a frenzy, whether you're right or left, I'm going to see you as someone who is creating chaos. Don't create chaos. But do everything out of a sense of love. Love for your country. Love for your fellow citizens. Love for other human beings. Love for the planet. Love for the environment. But not out of panic and fear and anger, because all those things lead to destruction, lead to chaos. I'm a Christian, and I really want Jesus to come back, and I hope he comes back soon. But until he comes back, it's our responsibility to do his work until he does. Have fun.